The first light of dawn spills across the San Francisco Bay, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose. This isn't just any sunrise. For us, it's the beginning of everything. Standing here on the deck of our boat, the Wanderlust, with the salty air filling my lungs and the iconic Golden Gate Bridge standing guard behind us, it feels like a scene straight out of a movie. But this is our reality. I'm Alex, and next to me are my two best friends, Maya and Leo. For years, this was just a dream we'd talk about over late-night coffees and takeout. A crazy, far-fetched idea to sail around the world. We spent countless hours poring over charts, learning knots until our fingers were raw, and saving every penny we could. People told us we were nuts. They said we were too young, too inexperienced. They listed 100 reasons why we would fail. But the call of the open ocean was louder than any of their doubts. Looking at Maya, her eyes are wide with the same mix of excitement and nervous energy I feel bubbling inside me. She's the meticulous planner, the one who made sure we had every single piece of gear. From our state-of-the-art navigation systems down to the last box of seasickness patches. And Leo, our seasoned sailor. He's got this calm, confident grin on his face. He grew up on boats, and the sea is in his blood. He's our captain, our guide, and the steady hand that's going to steer us through whatever comes our way. The city we've called home our whole lives is slowly shrinking in the distance, a familiar skyline giving way to an endless expanse of blue. There's a certain kind of fear that comes with letting go of everything you know, of casting off the lines, and truly heading into the unknown. It's a knot in your stomach that's both terrifying and thrilling. But this isn't just about escaping our 9-to-5 jobs or seeing beautiful places. This is about proving something to ourselves. It's about testing our limits, strengthening our friendship against the forces of nature, and discovering who we really are when everything is stripped away. We know it won't be easy. We've heard the stories of monster waves, equipment failures, and the crushing loneliness that can creep in after weeks at sea. We're prepared for storms, for challenges, for moments when we'll want to turn back. But we're also ready for the magic. We're ready for dolphins playing in our bow wave, for sunsets that set the entire ocean on fire, and for nights under a blanket of stars so bright they feel close enough to touch. We're chasing that feeling of being completely and utterly alive. As the Wanderlust cuts through the water, leaving the familiar world behind, I take a deep breath. This is it. No turning back. This is the first chapter of our grand adventure. We're trading city lights for constellations, solid ground for the constant rock of the waves, and certainty for possibility. We have no idea what lies ahead, who we'll meet, or what we'll find out there. And that's the most beautiful part of it all. This journey is our story to write, one nautical mile at a time. We want to take you all along with us, to share the highs, the lows, and everything in between. So, welcome aboard. The adventure has just begun. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss a single moment of this epic voyage. Thanks for joining us on day one. We'll see you out on the water. For centuries, sailors have whispered tales of phantom islands, landmasses that appear on charts only to vanish without a trace. But some islands aren't phantoms. They're just very, very good at hiding. Today, we're on a quest to find one of the world's most elusive landfalls, Ethelgard Island. According to the sparse records that mention it, this place is a paradox, a jewel of the Pacific shrouded in a veil of dread. Our journey began weeks ago, following a trail of breadcrumbs left in old maritime logs and the cryptic diary of a forgotten explorer. Most accounts dismissed Ethelgard Island as a myth, a sailor's yarn spun from too much sun and isolation. But one entry, dated 1888, described it with chilling precision. A fortress of black rock, crowned with a jungle so dense the sun dares not enter. That was enough for us. We had to see it for ourselves. Now, after navigating treacherous currents and unpredictable weather, something has finally broken the monotony of the endless blue horizon. Look there. Through the mist, a silhouette is forming. The GPS confirms it. We've arrived. The first thing you notice isn't the island itself, but the sound. It's a low, guttural roar. The sound of the ocean declaring war on the land. Massive waves, giants of pure energy, are relentlessly smashing against a coastline of what looks like jagged, black glass. The spray from these impacts raises high into the air, feeding the very mist that conceals the island. It's a breathtaking and terrifying display of nature's power. This is no welcoming tropical paradise. The shoreline is a barricade of sharp, volcanic rock, seemingly designed to repel any visitor. There are no gentle, sandy beaches here. No inviting coves, just an impenetrable wall forged in fire and battered by the sea. It's easy to see why so few have ever made landfall. Every potential entry point is a death trap, a churning cauldron of white foam and unforgiving stone. We're going to have to be incredibly careful and incredibly lucky to find a way ashore. Above the violent shore, the island rises steeply. It's covered in a thick, uniform blanket of the darkest green I've ever seen. The jungle here looks ancient, primeval. It blankets every inch of the island, a dense canopy that promises secrets and swallows the light. It's so thick, you can't make out any individual trees or features, just a single, living mass of vegetation. The light mist clinging to its peaks gives it an ethereal, almost spectral quality, as if the island itself is breathing. It feels like we're approaching a lost world, a place that time has forgotten. The atmosphere is heavy, a mix of awe and apprehension. It's beautiful, but it's a threatening kind of beauty. The old legends called Ethelgard Island the Isle of Whispers, and out here, with the engine off, you can almost understand why. The wind moans as it moves through the unseen trees, and the constant crash of the waves sounds like a chorus of angry voices. What secrets are hidden within that dark jungle? Why has this place remained isolated from the world for so long? We're about to take our first steps into the unknown and attempt to answer those questions. The real adventure starts now. Thank you for joining us on this incredible expedition. This is just the beginning. If you want to see what we find beyond this formidable coast, make sure you rate, subscribed, and have notifications turned on. You won't want to miss what happens next. Have you ever felt like you're standing on the deck of your own life, watching something important sail away over the horizon? It's a feeling of profound loneliness, like you're adrift in a vast, empty ocean under an overcast sky. One moment, there, a tangible part of your world. The next, they're just a shrinking speck, disappearing into the distance, leaving you with nothing but the endless stretch of water and the echo of their departure. This feeling, this moment of watching something or someone leave, is a universal human experience. It's that ache in your chest, the weight on your shoulders that makes you feel so incredibly small against the backdrop of the world. You're left alone with your thoughts, replaying memories, wondering what comes next. The silence that follows is deafening, filled only by the sound of the waves and the wind, which seem to whisper a song of solitude. It's a melancholic mood, a quiet despair that washes over you, leaving you feeling isolated and untethered. But here's something to hold on to in those moments. Even when you feel completely alone, remember that the horizon isn't an end. It's just the limit of our sight. Beyond that line, the world continues. And just as the sun rises every morning, bringing new light to the vast ocean, new opportunities and new connections will find their way to you. The tide will turn. The pain of watching someone leave can feel overwhelming, but it also creates a space for you to rediscover yourself, to find your own strength, and to learn to navigate your own waters. It's okay to feel that despair, to let the sadness wash over you. Acknowledge it. Live in it for a moment, but don't let it be your final destination. Your journey isn't over. You are the captain of your own vessel, and you have the strength to steer it toward a new dawn. The ocean may be vast, but so is your capacity for resilience and hope. Hold on, because your new beginning is just beyond the horizon. If you're struggling with these feelings, please know that support is available. You are not alone. Thanks for watching. Day 47. Or is it 48? The marks on the wall are starting to blur together, just like the dais. It's funny, when I first woke up here, in this creaking wooden belly, the first thing I felt was panic. Pure, cold terror. Where was I? How did I get here? The question screamed in my head, but the only answer was the rhythmic groaning of the ship and the endless slap of water against the hull. The first few days, I just cried. I beat my fists against the walls until they were bruised, screamed until my throat was raw. I thought about giving up. It would have been so easy to just let the despair swallow me whole, to sink into the darkness of this cabin and never get up. But then, something shifted. I found this small knife, tucked away in a crack in the floorboards. Holding it, feeling its cold, solid weight in my hand, it felt like a choice. So I started carving. The first mark was an act of defiance. It said, "I'm still here." Each tally since has been a promise to myself, a promise to see the next sunrise, to breathe the next breath. It's a record of my survival. I've learned the ship's language, the specific creak that means a storm is coming, the subtle shift in light that tells me it's midday. I ration the stale biscuits and the brackish water I collect. My hands are rough, my face is probably a mess, but my eyes, when I catch my reflection, they're not just scared anymore. There's a fire in them. This little window, it's my connection to the world. Sometimes I see nothing but an endless, angry ocean. Other times, I see a sky so full of stars it takes my breath away. It reminds me there's a world out there, a world I'm going to get back to. I don't know who put me here, or why, but they made a mistake. They thought they could break me. They didn't count on this. They didn't count on the strength you find when you have nothing left to lose. My story isn't over. This isn't a tomb. It's a ledger, and I'm the one keeping score. Each new mark isn't just another day survived. It's another day closer to my escape, and I will escape. Thank you for watching my story. Don't forget to follow for the next chapter. Have you ever wondered what you're truly capable of? What happens when civilization fades away and all you have left is your own instinct? Today, we're diving deep into a story of survival, a journey that pushes the limits of human endurance. Imagine this. A 26-year-old woman, once part of our modern world, now stranded in a dense, unforgiving tropical jungle. Her designer clothes are gone, replaced by torn sailing rags. The life she knew is just a distant memory. Now, her reality is the humid air, the tangled vines, and the constant, gnawing hunger. She's not just surviving. She's adapting, evolving. Look at her now, crouched, low to the ground. A crude wooden spear clutched in her hands. Her dark brown hair, once styled, is now a wild mane, tangled with leaves and sweat. Her face is a mask of mud and fierce determination. This isn't a game. This is a hunt. Every muscle is tensed. Every sense is on high alert. Her eyes, sharp and focused, are locked on her prey. In the dappled jungle light, you can just make out the form of a wild boar in the distance. A single mistake, a single moment of hesitation, and she goes hungry for another day. Or worse, this is where the true human spirit reveals itself. It's a raw, powerful display of the will to live. The atmosphere is thick with tension. You can almost feel the humidity, smell the damp earth, and hear the faint rustle of leaves that could signal danger or dinner. This isn't just about finding food. It's about rediscovering the primal instincts that lie dormant within all of us. It's a testament to the fact that when pushed to the edge, we can become something more, something fiercer than we ever imagined. What would you do in her place? Could you make the same transformation from citizen to survivor? This story reminds us that beneath our comfortable lives, there's a core of resilience waiting to be unlocked. It's a powerful, intense, and inspiring look at the essence of survival. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey. If you were captivated by this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales of human strength and endurance. See you next time. Imagine waking up one day and everything you know is gone. The city, your friends, your phone, all replaced by an endless expanse of ocean and a sliver of sand. That was my reality exactly 1 year ago. I was 26, fresh out of a life that felt planned down to the minute. Then, a storm, a shipwreck, and silence. At first, it was pure terror. Every creak of the jungle, every shadow that danced in the firelight was a monster. I was weak, scared, and completely alone. The first few weeks were a blur of desperation. Finding fresh water was a victory. Catching a single fish felt like winning a lottery. I remember crying for hours, convinced I wouldn't see another sunrise. But you know, something strange happens when you're pushed to the absolute edge. You either break or you break through. I started learning. I watched the animals, mimicked their movements, learned what they ate, and what they avoided. My hands, once soft from typing on a keyboard, became calloused from weaving nets and carving tools. I made my own clothes from what the island provided. This body, it stopped being something to be judged in a mirror and became a tool for survival. These scars on my arms, each one tells a story. A failed attempt at climbing a tree, a close call with a sharp rock. They are not they're pages in my diary. This flute, I made it from a piece of bamboo. In the deafening silence of the night, I learned to make my own music. It became my companion, my way of screaming into the void and hearing something beautiful echo back. I started marking the days on this post. Each slash is a testament, a declaration that I was still here. 365 marks, a full year. Standing here now, as the sun sets on my 365th day, I'm not the same person who washed ashore. That woman is gone. I am stronger. I am fiercer. I am a survivor. I don't know if I'll ever be rescued, if I'll ever see my old life again. But I do know one thing for sure. I am not just surviving anymore. I am living, and I will see tomorrow's sunrise. Thanks for watching my story. If you're ever feeling lost, remember the strength you have inside you. Don't forget to follow for more. Ever wondered what you'd do if you were stranded on a deserted island? For most, it's a terrifying thought. For some, it's a test of will, a challenge against nature itself. This isn't a vacation. It's a battle for survival, where every sunrise is a victory and every tool is a treasure. Look at this. This is what raw determination looks like. Stranded after a shipwreck, with only the jungle's resources and her own two hands, she refuses to give in. The wreckage in the distance is a constant reminder of the world she lost. But her focus is on the future. On the horizon she's determined to reach. Her shelter is a testament to ingenuity, built from salvaged parts and jungle materials. But a shelter isn't escape. That's why every waking hour is poured into this one monumental task, building a vessel that can conquer the ocean. This isn't just a raft, it's a lifeline, the primary material. Bamboo. It's light, it's buoyant, and incredibly strong. Each stalk is carefully selected, cut, and stripped. Notice the precision in her work. There's no room for error out here. Every joint, every knot, has to be perfect. The lashing is made from tough, fibrous vines, soaked and twisted to create a rope as strong as any modern equivalent. This is ancient knowledge, a primal skill reawakened by necessity. Her tools are primitive, forged from stone and sharpened wreckage. It's grueling, muscle-tearing work. Day after day, under the relentless sun, she toils. Her hands are calloused, her body lean and powerful from the constant labor. She's not just building a raft. She's rebuilding her hope, piece by piece. The design is simple but effective. A platform wide enough to be stable, with a small mast for a makeshift sail. Every element is meticulously planned. This project has taken weeks. It's a race against time, against the dwindling supplies and the unpredictable weather. But as the final pieces come together, you can see the shift in her eyes. The weariness is still there, but it's overshadowed by a spark of triumph. Will it be enough? We can only watch and hope. But one thing is for sure. She has given herself a fighting chance. Imagine you're adrift in the endless, shimmering blue of the open ocean. Nothing but water as far as the eye can see. You're on a tiny bamboo raft, just big enough for one weed-a-singlet tattered cloth sail that hangs limp in the still air. The sun beats down relentlessly, blurring the line between the sky and the sea. This isn't just a scene from a movie. It's a terrifying reality that some have faced. What happens when you're truly, completely alone? This scenario pushes the limits of human endurance. Dehydration and starvation become your constant companions. The sun, your only source of light and warmth, turns into a formidable enemy, scorching your skin and draining your energy. But the physical challenges are only half the battle. The psychological toll of such profound isolation is immense. Your mind can start playing tricks on you. The vast, empty ocean can feel like it's closing in, and the silence becomes deafening. Every creak of the bamboo, every ripple in the water can sound like a threat or a false promise of rescue. So, how do people survive this? It comes down to an incredible force of will. The human spirit's capacity to find hope in the most desolate of situations is truly astonishing. Survivors of such ordeals often talk about creating routines, talking to themselves, or focusing on a single, powerful reason to live, like reuniting with loved ones. They learn to read the ocean, to catch rainwater, and to find food where it seems none exists. They become one with their environment, not fighting it, but adapting to its harsh rhythms. It's a primal battle, not just for survival, but to maintain sanity against the crushing weight of loneliness. The stories of those who've endured and returned from the brink are powerful testaments to our resilience. They remind us that even when we feel lost in our own metaphorical oceans of loneliness or despair, there is an inner strength we can tap into. It's the same instinct that keeps that lone figure on the raft holding on, day after day, scanning the 360-degree horizon for a sign of hope. It's a humbling and inspiring look at what we truly capable of when everything is stripped away. What do you think you'd do in this situation? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more. 450 days, a year and 3 months adrift on this endless, unforgiving ocean. The sun, once a symbol of life, is now my tormentor. It beats down relentlessly, baking my skin until it cracks and peels, leaving me a patchwork of burns and sores. My lips are so dry they feel like they might crumble to dust if I tried to speak. Not that I have anyone to talk to. It's just me, this raft, and the vast, empty blue. I remember the beginning, the hope, the desperate fight for survival. Collecting rainwater, catching fish with my bare hands, staring at the horizon for a ship that never came. Now, the energy for even that is gone. My body has withered away. I can feel every bone, every ridge of my spine against the rough bamboo. My cheeks are hollow, my eyes sunken deep into their sockets. I haven't seen my own reflection in over a year, but I know what I must look like. A ghost, a skeleton, waiting for the sea to claim it. The world has faded to a blur of heat and a constant, dull ache. I barely have the strength to breathe. Each inhale is a shallow, painful effort. My thoughts drift, hazy and disconnected, like clouds across the searing sky. Sometimes I dream of food, a simple piece of bread, a glass of cold water. I dream of my family, of green grass, and the smell of rain on soil. Are they memories or just hallucinations born from starvation? I can't tell anymore. The only thing I still hold on to is this little bamboo flute. It was a gift from my grandfather. Its smooth surface is a comforting weight in my skeletal hand. I used to play it, sending sad, lonely notes out over the water, a call to a world that had forgotten me. I don't have the breath to play it now, but Primera Hold Italiano, it's the last piece of my old life, the last tangible link to who I was before all this. Is this it? Is this the end? The sun is so bright, even through my closed eyelids, a brilliant, white. Maybe it's not the sun. Maybe it's something else, something waiting for me on the other side of this final breath. I'm so tired, so very tired. I think I'll just rest now. Just for a little while. The waves rock me gently. A final, cruel lullaby. Goodbye. Can you imagine being lost at sea for over a year of fighting storms, battling hunger, and clinging to a fragile hope that seems to fade with every sunset? This is the incredible true story of a woman who survived 456 days adrift in the vast, unforgiving Pacific Ocean. Her journey began on a small bamboo raft, a mere speck in the immense blue. Days blurred into weeks, and weeks into months. The sun beat down mercilessly, and the nights brought a chilling cold. Her only companions were the fish that swam beneath her raft and the stars that glittered above. Food was scarce, a constant, gnawing hunger. Her unwelcome passenger. She learned to catch fish with her bare hands, to collect rainwater on a tattered piece of sailcloth. Every sunrise was a victory, every sunset a test of her will to live. She wasn't just surviving, she was living. To keep her mind sharp and her spirits from breaking, she carved a simple flute from a piece of bamboo. The haunting melodies she played were a lament, a prayer, and a declaration of her existence, carried across the empty waves. It was her way of screaming to the world, "I am still here." Her body grew weak, her skin weathered by the elements, but her spirit remained unbroken. She chronicled her journey by carving notches into the raft, each mark a testament to another day conquer. 456 notches. Then, on the 456th day, as the sun cast a golden glow across the water, she saw it, a shape on the horizon. At first, she thought it was a mirage, another cruel trick of her exhausted mind. But it grew larger, clearer. It was a ship, a modern research vessel, the Orion Star. With trembling hands, she raised the bamboo flute to her lips one last time. It wasn't a melody of sorrow anymore, but a single, clear note of desperate hope. Tears streamed down her face, catching the sunlight like tiny diamonds. After 456 days of solitude, her miracle had arrived. This is a story that reminds us of the incredible power of the human spirit to endure, to hope, and to overcome the impossible. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of incredible survival. Sometimes, a story finds you when you least expect it. A whisper on the wind across an endless ocean. For the crew of the research vessel Odyssey, it was a day like any other, charting the vast, unexplored blue. But then, a flicker on the horizon, something that didn't belong. It was a tiny bamboo raft, tossed about by the relentless waves, a fragile speck against the immense power of the sea. As they drew closer, a shape came into focus, a human form, barely clinging to life. They pulled her from the water. A woman, so emaciated her bones seemed to press against her skin. Her hair, long and dark, was a matted tangle of salt and survival. The crew, professionals accustomed to the ocean's harsh realities, were silenced by the sight. You could see the shock etched on their faces, quickly replaced by a deep, human compassion. They wrapped her in an emergency blanket, the crinkle of the foil a stark contrast to the silence of the setting sun. Her eyes, when they opened, held a universe of suffering and a flicker of disbelief. She was alive. Was safe. This wasn't just a rescue. It was a testament to the will to survive against impossible odds. We don't know her name yet, or the full story of her ordeal. How long had she been adrift? What storms did she endure, both in the sky and in her own soul? These are questions for another day. Today, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and amber, it was a moment of pure, unscripted humanity. It was a moment of salvation. This single, powerful image reminds us that even in the vast, indifferent expanse of the ocean, hope can survive. It reminds us that the instinct to reach out, to help a stranger, is one of the most powerful forces on Earth. Her journey back to the world is just beginning, and it's a story of resilience we will never forget. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for updates as we follow her story of recovery.